Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 18th August 2023. This is the birthday of one very great internationally renowned celebrity whose case history we are going to talk in this particular video. My name is T.S.V. Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TRSV, nectar, NECTAR, nectar. However, officially it is known only as Haribol, TRSV, nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been talking about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. It is actually a mere continuation of what we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. Swami Yogananda Paramhansa, the world-renowned founder of Yogoda Satsang Society of India, has gone on a record in his book Autobiography of a Yogi that God is too complicated an entity to be reduced to a rule. There is a proverb, big surprises come in small packages. That means extraordinarily strange things and big achievements come in small quantities. Just like a lot of gold is used to make a small amount of jewelry. A small diamond comes out of a huge coal mine. Similarly, very great people come out of the majority of the 100% society. In this process, I would like to quote a few examples which will authenticate this theory that God springs up miracles from unexpected places and times when you are least prepared for them, or when you feel that you are too experienced and mature to know the whole world. As for example, Manohar Aik, a Bengali gentleman who stood barely 4'11", became an internationally awarded and renowned bodybuilder whose name still appears in the Guinness Book of World Records as Pocket Hercules. This man surprised not just Indians or his local regional audience, but he surprised the European and American audience too with his health and strength. Similarly, God has given us strong men out of ordinary mechanics like Eddie Hall, bodybuilders who have been mathematics teachers and accountants, musicians from a wrestler family like Hari Prasad Chaurasia, and ordinary people who went to dizzy heights because of their own free will, individuality, talent, and a purpose to achieve something. This case history of this gentleman who was born on 18th August, which is today and which happens to be his birthday, is such an example. There is a very successful, revered, and respected community among the Indians called the Sikhs. These Sikhs are mainly known for three walks of life. Either they are in the defense forces responsible for national external and internal security, become soldiers, captains, lieutenants, generals, lieutenant generals, etc. Second, they are very successful agriculturists and landlords who own several acres of land in and outside Punjab, or they are very successful businessmen who deal in mechanical field, commerce, trade, and who own and operate workshops, shops, and other such businesses. 99% of the population of this particular community is indulging in these three walks of life mainly. They are people who are very good soldiers or policemen, big landlords who are successful in that field, or extremely wealthy businessmen. There was one Kaura family which is is part of this particular community and which hailed from the undivided parts of India that has today become Pakistan. In other words, this Kalra family lived in West Punjab. Kalra was the surname, and they were no surprise in the sense that they also were involved in the mechanical side of business, which Sikh community is well known for. On 18th August, that is today's date, but a different year, that was either 1936 or 1938. One boy was born in that family. This boy must have had quite a load of Sanchit karma in a particular field of which he had taken a huge slice of prarabdha karma to work out in this particular lifetime. Probably this particular gentleman had struggled through several lifetimes to get such an excellent prarabdha karma which would take him to dizzy heights. This boy was christened Sampoorn Singh Kalra. This boy, Sampoorn Singh Kalra, was born in a business cum mechanical family. After the partition in 1947, this family relocated to the eastern side of Punjab, which is still in the undivided India. Here, this boy was born in a successful, respectable, and intelligent family along with his siblings, both male and female. However, this is where the surprise lies. It is unexpected and unbelievable that a boy who was born in a family with inside a community with such credentials became totally cerebrally inclined. It means that he was not much interested either in becoming a soldier, a landlord, or a businessman. Instead, this character, this living entity with such a prarabdha karma in a particular field became a voracious reader, so much so that it is said that this guy could guzzle complete bookshops or libraries in his locality by reading every book in that particular bookshop or library. Even in his younger days, this boy was very much interested in soaking up knowledge in various fields. The decent family which was fond of this boy humored this boy but was skeptical about what this boy was going to do in future as a bookworm. One day when he was in his teens, his father, who loved and cared for him a lot, sent him to the commercial town of Bombay in Maharashtra, India, to his young elder brother and his another cousin, or you may say father's younger brother, and also Gulzar's elder brother, who were running a mechanical shop in Bombay. This boy, who was till now just a bookworm and who had qualified and become a graduate, joined these two people as a trainee and an intern in their mechanical shop. Here, this boy had to do with towing the line which his own family and community had drawn for him and other members of the community. This boy became a car mechanic. He lived here, earned and learned during his period of salad days as a mechanic. Even then, he was extremely interested in reading, which his own family tolerated. Because he was so much cerebrally inclined, these people allowed him to flex his cerebral muscles by attending various conferences of poets and writers. This boy began frequenting such places. It was only here that we could know why God chose this boy and planted him in such an alien family to become what he became later on. Sampurnanand Sampurn Singh Kalra began frequenting such intellectual conferences and exhibitions. One day, he met one very successful and iconic film director called Bimal Roy, who was even then a living legend in Bollywood, the Indian film industry in Bombay. Bimal Roy was extremely intelligent, extremely impressed with this boy's intelligence, erudition, talent, capability, and capacity. He offered one role as a lyrics writer to this boy to write lyrics for Bimal Roy in his films. At that time, Bimal Roy was directing a film called Bandini. The first lyrics that this boy wrote, Mora Gora Rang De De, Mohe Sham Rang De De, that he had penned, was a super hit and a legendary song which is heard even today, though it was written some 70 years back. Gulzar, which was now a pen name of Sampurna Singh Kalra, became a writer of lyrics, poetry, and stories, and he got his first national award for that particular song. More was to follow. Slowly, Gulzar became an assistant under the same Bimal Rai and began learning film direction. Later on, he became an assistant to stalwarts like the iconic film director Rishikesh Mukherjee. Gulzar continued to pen lyrics, poems, songs, and stories for these directors. One of the stories and which he wrote and the lyrics for that particular story which he himself had written became a legend in the film industry. This particular story and film is called Anand. The dialogues of Anand plus the songs of Anand, which were penned by Gulzar, have become milestones in the making of films in India. Even today, when this film is around 50 years old, people are still watching it with reverence and awe. The songs are mega blockbuster super hits. Gulzar, after winning awards and accolades for penning lyrics and stories for other directors, became a director himself in the year 1970 when he directed one Bengali film's remake called Mere Apne. This story was made originally as Apanjan in Kolkata. Gulzar by then was very much interested with the very rich and talented Bengali culture. The coloring of that influence was and is still with Gulzar alias Sampurna Singh Kalra, which was his real name. Here I would like to take a detour. We are talking about focus, which is so important in the psyche of a human living entity. Gulzar, despite being born in such a strange family and atmosphere, continued to focus on his own assignment as a living entity. There was one living entity which was born in the 25% bracket of the society and which had got an assignment to complete. This particular living entity must have fallen in love with his assignment to such an extent that it not only grew into him but also became a part of him. Probably this guy had had some measure of success in his past lifetimes, but in this particular lifetime, when he was born as Sampurn Singh Kalra in a Sikh family, his talent, his focus, and his concentration came to full bloom. Gulzar has probably reached his height of achievement in his particular assignment as a writer. Writing poetry, lyrics, and stories along with film direction is probably his assignment as a 25% member in the society. And that is precisely the reason why he is becoming so successful in that field despite being born in a very different type of community. A community which is known for defense forces, agriculture, being landlords, becoming businessmen successful both in technology and commerce. This guy who belonged to such a community has become an extremely talented and legendary writer. His own daughter has gone on record saying that my father's poems and lyrics are so decent, refined, and fragile that you are scared of reading his poems lest the very paper in which they are written may shatter by your handling them with your own finger. It is very difficult to hold even the paper in which his lyrics and poetry have been written. Mr. Gulzar, alias Mr. Sampurn Singh Kalra, has received the maximum number of awards one can achieve in a particular field in the creative line. He has received awards in different categories like Filmfare, National Award, Film Critics Award, etc. for lyrics, poetry, script, film direction, and other accessory items or departments. He is a living legend, an icon, and a genius who probably fell in love with his assignment as a living entity long before. Otherwise, he could not have succeeded to such an extent in one lifetime as an iconic writer. This person has also probably received the Sahitya Akademi Award, one of the highest awards given to literary figures in India. His books of poems, lyrics, dialogues, etc. are bestsellers in India and abroad. People are surprised and enamored by the way this very brilliant person thinks and puts his thoughts on paper. At least 80 to 90% of his songs penned in the film industry are super hits. Not only that, he writes songs of different genres, those which are very literary as well as those which cater to the masses. He writes songs on romance, terrorism, action, and other such fields, including the local dialect of a particular community in India. He writes excellent poetry and lyrics on various subjects in various fields and in multicolored films which cater to different types of audience. Not only that, he penned the lyrics for a Hollywood based film and got an Oscar for that particular lyrics called Jai Ho. People are surprised as to how much one person can achieve individually in one particular lifetime. This man has received more awards than one can even imagine a bunch of intellectuals to achieve or receive in one particular lifetime. This man is a phenomenon and an industry of creation. However, he has gone on a record saying that creativity is a pain that every creator loves to suffer. He says that the ache or the pain from creativity is such that it gives a lot of agony to the creator, but he or she ultimately falls in love with that pain to such an extent that it becomes an extension of him or her. Here we can see what one living entity who has got an assignment and who has fallen in love with that assignment can achieve in his or her different lifetimes. It is not possible that a person got an assignment in one lifetime and achieved such an iconic status in that very lifetime. Yes, it is possible for God to award such a accolade or success to any living entity. But as far as my own contemplation and meditation goes, I feel that a person who has achieved such dizzy heights in one lifetime must have focused on this particular assignment in the previous ones too, and only after he reached one particular stage of assignment of success in that assignment would he have been born a Sampurna Singh Kaura in a Sikh family and become such a successful writer, lyricist, and poet as Mr. Gulzar. Mr. Gulzar's life story is one that every ordinary human living entity should try to read, learn, and emulate because it is one confirmed topic which will make every living entity successful in his path towards ultimate self realization, liberation from the chain of birth and death, and finally get delivered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mr. Gulzar gives us an idea of how much one can do in his or her chain of repeated births and deaths to reach such a self evolved spirit soul which has gone through the vagaries of nature and life and achieved so much in the material field and which has now been poised to achieve even more in the spiritual world. This is all I wanted to say in this particular case history. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular matter. I have tried to be as clear and honest as possible while dealing with this particular subject and case history. Please give me your own expert ideas, thoughts, views, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan